In the opening scene, we see a young man who wakes up in the middle of a gloomy room. He is completely oblivious of what is going on, where he is, and how he ended up here. He quickly gets up and examines the walls, hoping to find a way out, but there is none. The room only consists of a toilet and a shower. The man frantically begins pounding on the walls, asking to be let out, but his voice goes unheard. Well, the shower means he's got it better than 90% of people in this world. Shortly after, he notices a turned-on computer showing the word share. He then begins to enter different commands in an attempt to open the door, but the computer deems them invalid. It asks him to share again, and this time, the guy confirms. Following this, the computer starts to record him. Thinking that someone is watching him, he starts asking several questions, but receives no answers. The man then goes to use the toilet, but he realizes that there is no water, and the sink is not working either. As a result, he writes the water command, to which the computer responds that it equals to 5. Unable to understand, he lies down on the floor to wait. During this, a fart inadvertently escapes him, which earns him some points. These points enable him to buy some water, finally quenching his thirst. After washing his face, he realizes that this is a broadcast and that real people are watching him. Stupid people, the kind of people who love farts. The man then starts to fart while moving ridiculously around the room, but it doesn't get him enough points to buy food. Thus, he tries a few random commands and manages to turn off the lights before going back to sleep. A short while later, the computer beeps, reminding him to share again. The man responds by going on a rant about the ongoing situation before heading for a shower. This earns him some points, so he quickly begins to act silly again. Upon collecting the points, he orders some food, but much to his dismay, he is provided with a bowl of dog food, a shaggy delicacy. The man decides to complain and tries to send it back, but his efforts are futile. Left with no other option, he begins to eat the food and even acts like a dog for the audience. His entertaining acts earn him some more points, but it's still not enough to buy him proper clothes. His first attempt provides him with a female undergarment, but despite this, he uses it to model for the screen. After a few hours, the man breaks down in tears and goes to sleep in despair. The following day, he pulls himself together and starts doing his best to entertain the viewers. He performs some gymnastic moves, silly dances, and spontaneous thoughts. Soon, he manages to gather enough points to buy a t-shirt, a mattress, and a toilet mirror. Over time, the points keep on piling up, enabling him to buy more stuff such as clothes, shaving tools, decent food, as well as some alcohol. But one day, he drinks excessively and proceeds to smash the monitor with an empty bottle, causing his room to lose all power. After this, the man tries pulling the monitor off the wall and also examines the food hatch but finds no way out. In a fit of rage, he punches the monitor but ends up hurting his own hand. He soon has a nervous breakdown and begs to be released. Upon losing all of his energy, he apologizes to the computer for his irrational behavior, pleading for one more chance. The degree of despair reaches its limit, and the man lies down on the floor, awaiting his fate. Sometime later, the computer turns on, and an old man appears on the screen to greet him. Turns out, the old man is also living in the same kind of room, but he has way more stuff in comparison to our protagonist. He explains that sometimes there are glitches in the system, but once a person reaches a certain level, they gain access to the common network. This means our guy can now communicate with other prisoners like himself. The guy initially believes that the old man is working for the unknown kidnappers, but the latter tells him that they all woke up there just like he did, without knowing how or why. But they're all pretty sure it's got something to do with that Dobrik dickhead playing a prank. As the two go on conversing, we learn that the old man never shuts up. He jumps from one topic to another without much thought. It is his never-ending rants that gets him lots of points. However, our guy gets annoyed by this. One night, he wakes up to the older man's cough and approaches the computer to ask about his well-being. During this, he also tries some random commands and comes across the other prisoners, each of them having different channel numbers. Our guy's channel number is 14, whereas the older man's is 73. Turns out that there are all kinds of content, such as cooking lessons, makeup tutorials, and so on. Particularly, our guy has his gaze fixated on a beautiful woman teaching yoga. As more days pass by, 14 spends most of his time with 73, chatting, sharing meals, and even learning magic from him. At nighttime, the old man goes to sleep, while 14 connects to the yoga instructor and sends her some donations. One morning, 14 is working on his new furniture when 73 comes to talk to him. According to the old man, they can't stay at one level, as the viewers will stop loving them and won't pay. Thus, they need to grow and spread their content. That's not true. You have to keep doing the same thing or you fail. Don't they know this? Heeding to his advice, 14 tries new genres. He tests stand-up comedy, workouts, cooking, singing, and magic. All of this brings a new audience, resulting in him earning more points. He opts to use these points to buy 73 some medicine, as he's constantly coughing. While making a purchase, 14 makes an error and ends up watching the room of 11, a woman who is currently showering. She is clearly enraged by such an unacceptable intrusion and yells at him, accusing him of being a kidnapper. However, 14 quickly clarifies the ongoing situation, asserting himself to be a prisoner just like her. So it's okay that he's watching her shower, you see? Just then, 73 also joins, and 11 asks the two of them if they ever tried to escape. In response, 14 shares his earlier behavior, which caused him to be punished. The woman thinks that they should still analyze every bit of information they have and find a vulnerability in the system. However, 73 tells her that she's just being condescending and yells at her before leaving the conversation. Perplexed, 11 wonders why they were chosen, since it's strange that a company would provide housing and food to random strangers. 14 replies that he wasn't anyone important, but here he got the opportunity to live a better life because now he matters to someone. This is starting to hit deep. Later on, 14 starts a little show with puppets made of socks. This amuses the viewers, and he gets rewarded with many points. The audience is pleased to finally see him going full Mel Gibson. One fine morning, he gifts 11 a shower curtain, but it angers her because she doesn't want to be pitied. In the following days, 14 entertains the audience by teaching them some drawing lessons, but since he himself is horrible at drawing, the lessons are humorous. He eventually earns a lot of points, which he uses to buy himself more furniture. However, the woman can't bear her condition any longer, so she suggests that they start a revolution. This ensues a heated argument between the three of them, as 14 and 73 are convinced that it is here that they got the opportunity to live better than before. That night, the old man begins coughing more severely than usual, and even chokes on it. In addition, he suddenly has a seizure, and his body gets paralyzed, with his face pressed against the monitor. Sensing the urgency of the situation, 14 appeals to all subscribers for help, while 11 tries to find a useful command on the computer. Amidst this intense moment, 11 accidentally enters a wrong command, and as a consequence, flames start coming out of the walls. The duo watch helplessly as 73 and his entire room get engulfed by fire before the screen goes blank. This tragedy leaves them devastated, so they remain silent for some days, mourning their loss. One morning, 14 talks to 11 and tells her not to blame herself, as she was just doing her best to help the old man. All you did was comment that his channel was fire, he says. You couldn't have meant that to happen. In an attempt to cheer her up, he performs another puppet show. After a while, the woman confesses that she wants to get drunk and asks him to accompany her. They then order some alcohol and start drinking, while reminiscing their last memories of freedom. In an inebriated state, they begin dancing, even if there is no music. Eventually, their moments take a romantic turn, and they use their hands to gratify themselves while looking at each other. And you can bet that the points come pouring in. The following day, as the two converse, 14 agrees with 11's old plan. All the fellow prisoners need to come together and find a vulnerability in the system, since the old man's death proves that glitches do exist. Following this, he goes live and tells the audience about what happened. He points out the oddities in the system, where unknown functions sometimes appear, and if they can use these functions to hack, the bunker might open. Not long after, the yoga instructor 28 contacts 14 and expresses that she liked his speech. After a brief conversation, 28 goes to sleep, while 14 and 11 begin to check the other channels. They are happy that several fellow prisoners are supporting them to find the glitches. In the next scene, 28 initiates her yoga session. During this, she talks to 14, saying that he gained popularity because he makes people smile, which is incredibly valuable. Not as valuable as my bum when I do tree pose, but valuable nonetheless. As their conversation unfolds, she invites him to join her in yoga, which the latter agrees to. But just moments later, 11 intervenes and asks them to get to work instead of chatting. For the next few days, 11 continues to check the other channels in order to gather information about the glitches. Eventually, she discovers several cool things, such as controlling the ventilation system and even moving the walls. These discoveries make her realize that the rooms are located at different distances. Thus, she decides to create a map of the place and bring it down. She shares her idea with 14, but the latter isn't excited like before. It appears that 28 made him think that happiness is very important in whatever they do. He then tells her that some people are happy here, so they shouldn't shatter their joy. However, 11 dismisses him and proceeds to cut her hair as a sign of rebellion. The same night, 28 starts her yoga session, but this annoys 11. As a result, she confronts the yoga instructor, claiming that the night streams are rude as they prevent others from sleeping. An argument soon ensues between the two women, and 28 accuses 11 of treating the other bloggers like her puppets. Hearing the commotion, 14 comes in between to stop them. At this point in time, he starts seeing 11's point again and decides to do something. He goes live and asks all the other bloggers to send him 1 point. Here, a glitch occurs, and his points start increasing in a rapid manner. This infuriates the yoga instructor, and she addresses him as a thief. The fight escalates, and 11 makes it rain inside 28's room. In retaliation, she enters a command, the warmth of their light, which causes 11's room to catch fire. Soon after, 11 is engulfed by flames, just like 73, before her screen goes off. Upon witnessing this, 14 falls to his knees and breaks down in tears. But just then, a door inexplicably opens behind him, revealing a bright, sunny day. In a state of disbelief, he goes to look out of the door when the monitor suddenly beeps. He then comes back to tell the other bloggers that they did it. However, his happiness is short-lived as the door shuts down, trapping him again. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.